ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Thrill HQ, or should I say Clydeside, to the Clydeside Stateside worldwide message that we push so hard. Welcome back to the Scottish Fall, episode 46, can you believe it? And as I say, one thing that we've been saying since the last episode as well, that there will be no more rise up. It's time to go back to brotherhood. I'm joined as always by my brother, my co-host with the most, and the original Scottish Falcon, Dynamo Des Stevenson. How are you, Des?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Obviously, we're kind of up against it with the Senior Bowl and obviously the Royal Rumble. So I'm assuming it's going to be a quiet show, but it finishes up the season, mate, and how we effectively thought the season went. We can take it from there. The good thing is that obviously we've got all our staff all set up now, so another few appointments today. So it's looking for Stefanski, it's looking promising. Really good, a really good staff coming together. So yeah, you can only be optimistic, mate.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot to look forward to, for sure. And before we do get started, shout out as always to the chat. Floyd in there first. What's up, people? Good to see you as always, Floyd. Hoping to do a nice show because, as we say, shout out Tony as well. Get Falcon set. I'm not going to catch the Royal Rumble to the basically later on tonight, seeing as we're going live. So no more spoilers, please, if you don't mind, guys.
Yeah, no spoilers, please. That's it. I don't watch the Royal Rumble, but effectively in Scotland, we just look out the window and see whatever drunk people out the front of the streets doing. That's our Royal Rumble, you know what I mean? So a good bevy on a Saturday night and then a good wee fight. That's a perfect Saturday night for a Scotsman. So we just look out the window, just open the curtains. So
that's it. You keep your Royal Rumble. We've got the square go.
Absolutely,
mate. But yeah. As I say, not only is it winding down the football season in terms of the Falcons, it's also the last episode tonight for the Scottish Falcons season 1. So there's a lot to kind of get through. We're going to give you some of our kind of memories and what we're looking forward to, some of the things you guys can look forward to as well. But in terms of the actual show itself, we're tired, bosses. So we need to kind of kick back a little bit, take a couple of weeks to kind of do some bits and pieces behind the scenes just to make sure we're bringing the best of content to you guys as well. Supported us from episode 1. So yeah, we're not going anywhere. And we do appreciate that. We appreciate the Red and Blacks as always. And as Southside Ricky, another member of the family, saying, Falcons Nation over everybody. Absolutely. Man knows some things, Des.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's all about the Falcons. As I say, the thing that I loved about doing the first season of the show was the fact that, and I've said this before, in the UK, you can't just bump into somebody and start talking about American football, as we call it over here. I call it NFL. And especially even if you do bump into somebody that's maybe got an NFL top on, they're either maybe slightly into it, or they've watched a couple of games, or their granny gave them the top for their birthday or their Christmas because they thought they were into American football. But to effectively be able to talk to somebody about Atlanta Falcons, that's an impossibility in the UK. We're very, I mean, we're sparse NFL wise, but obviously you're competing with 32 teams. So Atlanta Falcons is one of 32 teams that they're competing against. Tends to be the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is big over here, the Dallas Cowboys, whoever's in vogue at that time, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. You'll start to see a lot of Seattle Seahawks tops again, and you'll see your odd San Francisco 49ers top. So very rarely have I ever walked down the street and seen somebody with Atlanta Falcons hat on or something like that. So the benefit of this season is that I've been able to talk about my passion, which is the Atlanta Falcons. So it's been fantastic. I just wish we had a better season, and but as I say, I'm optimistic that the next season, or this season now, is going to be a good season, and effectively develop us into a playoff contending team. What do you think, Will? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been a really good season all around as far as the show's concerned. Like, funnily enough, I was over in Glasgow City Centre a couple of days ago, and I seen a guy with a Lamar Jackson jersey, and I didn't know whether to kind of go up and shake his hand purely because he was an NFL fan, or be angered by the fact that it was a Lamar Jackson jersey. So you do have that kind of meeting of the worlds where you're not quite sure how to act, but.
Yeah.
No, as I say, to have this platform in this medium, and especially to know that we're embraced so heartily and so readily by the guys over in Atlanta, says a lot. As I say, I've been kind of grinding behind the scenes to get some sort of international thing going with Maggie, with Mike, obviously. So I've kind of been indoctrinated. Yeah, I will go indoctrinated into the whole unholy alliance ethos now as well. In addition to obviously what we're doing here with AFNI. So, and obviously the most thrilling part for me was just to find yourself, Des, and get someone who wasn't just like minded but had the passion that I did to really shoot the shit, so to speak, and really get into the nitty gritty and just let our passion show. And I feel like that's what the guys down in the chat love, and that's what keeps them coming back. So, yeah, anything before we continue into anything else, I want to give you your flowers in return, mate, because as I say, it's been a great season, and I'm looking forward to hopefully onwards and upwards in season 2.
Well, hopefully in season 2, mate, your internet will be a lot better, and we won't have kickouts as tends to happen now and again. But listen, mate, I've always said you always prep everything. You get the show all ready to go. I mean, I'm literally a workaholic. I work all hours in my business, so effectively I just plot my backside down in 10 minutes before the show, and there it goes. 10 minutes before the show, and the show's ready to go. So I think the other thing as well, from my point of view, is as Will says, the passion of the fans. I think the other reason why we wanted to start this show was the fact that I had seen, or you would see so many, I think, Atlanta fans putting down the city and putting down the sports teams. And I just wanted to kind of put it out there that we effectively, that the teams in Atlanta are well thought of, and there's a fan base around the world that loves like the Atlanta Falcons, and effectively just to open the eyes of people in Atlanta that they know that the team is thought about and it's loved around the world. And I would say as well, probably to shame a few people in Atlanta who are always. Listen, I can't say, and I went off on the Stefanski hire. I was not a fan of that. But I say what I say because I love the team, and I want the team more than anything. I want the team to be successful. I mean, obviously, Will's talking about, and I'm going to give you a wee confession, Will. So, Will's talking about doing a Super Bowl watch party. I need to let people know I have not watched, and I repeat, and what highlights or whatever. Since that game that we do not mention, I have not watched anything from a Super Bowl since. I think it comes down to, I'm not a jealous person, but I think it comes down to the fact that when it comes to Atlanta Falcons, there's jealousy there that I want us to be there. I want us to be lifting the Lombardi Trophy, and to see other teams do it, it just hits me even harder. So if I do get a chance to do the watch party, it will be the first live Super Bowl and the first Super Bowl that I will have watched at any point since, what was it, February the 3rd, 2017?
Yeah, a day that will go down in infamy
Yeah.
for all time. But yeah, no, like as I say, as we always close the show with, you all know it by now, pain is international. We felt plenty of it over the last decade. Or hopefully it's something that we can kind of remedy going forward, because as Ricky says, if we did have Stefanski, then there's every chance that we would have been a playoff team. But obviously, you know what happens when the playoffs come any given Sunday. You need to just and 0-0 every Sunday until you get there. So I'm not going to say much, but as I say, I kind of always try to keep an eye on the Super Bowl as best as I can. So if you want to show your boys some love, and obviously get light the fire on Des again, to at least try and, if not enjoy it with us, then at least endure it. And as I say, if you've got no other plans, then as I say, you can always join us here on AFNI, and we'll keep you company, because it should be at any rate a fairly decent game. And I do hope the Patriots don't win. I hope the Seahawks personally destroy them, but that's just my thoughts.
Well,
You know well my thoughts on the Patriots by now, mate.
Patriots. Well, I've always said my top three are Sean Haytham, which is number one. I hate that. Well, I mean, I hate the New Orleans Aints, but that comes within that. So you've got I probably hate Sean Payton more than I hate the New Orleans Saints, and that's saying something. That choke thing when I see it, I just honestly, I'm not a violent man, but I just love to punch him in the face. I'm not, as I say, it's when you see him doing that. Then you've got the Goat Man, and then you're into the Patriots, and
Yeah.
and I'll never ever forgive what they done to us. That last quarter, I will never forgive them. What I would say is, if you look at probably the team that absolutely destroyed us more than any team this year, was the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep.
They came out in the second half and demolished us. Remember, we were 22-22, I think, at the half,
Mhm.
and they came out and destroyed us. And we were only one missed field goal away from beating the Patriots. So that effectively should tell you who should be the winner for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Tells you everything you need to know. And I mean, talking about some people who are familiar with pain. Shout out to some of the family. We've got Raymond down there throwing up the hell yes. Miss Maggie, get set. Shout out to the First Lady of AFN. Big things coming all around the Atlanta Falcons nation, so you better stay tuned here. Big shows upcoming. I will say no more, because I don't want to steal my sister's thunder there. But yeah, and Raymond saying again, 2 losses to Carolina. Yeah, like we can glaze our season on the show as much as possible, but I mean, let's be real. In terms of the team itself, I'm glad that we have that rebuild in place nowadays. Last season was not it. The lack of accountability, the lack of adjustment, the just outright stating to the rest of the league, I see number 7. That's the guy you want to stop.
Yeah.
As if he didn't know that was the guy you wanted to stop. We're going to just put a poster on him. And while we are talking about number 7, a belated happy birthday to Bijan Robinson. As I call him, the baby goat.
Well, let's just say, I will say, if he isn't in the top 3, or I would say worst top 5 in the top 100 NFL players this season, I'm personally coming across and I'm writing at the NFL offices in New York, because effectively he is by far the best. He's the most exciting player you've seen for a long time. I mean, you could say obviously Sakim, always Barkley. Saquon Barkley. I always get his name wrong. Saquon Barkley, but he's not got that explosiveness. It's just pure strength with him. But Bijan's just got everything. And I mean, if you're Kevin Stefanski or Tommy Rees, and obviously they've now brought in Van Pelt was the
yeah.
He's going to be the passing game coordinator, but he's obviously been an OC before, so effectively it's effectively doing quite a few jobs with the one hire. He can keep an eye on Tommy Rees, help Tommy Rees if he needs it, allows Stefanski to then effectively be the CEO and deal with all that side. But if you're looking around and you're seeing Bijan Robinson, hopefully Kyle Pitts, Drake London, you know what I mean? Hopefully Tyler Algier, because I think he gets missed out quite a lot. But again, we're hoping that Ian Cunningham comes in and sees what he's got. Looking at the projection now that's going to be on the NFL cap, they're saying that Atlanta Falcons should have about 27 million. But again, we probably 3 or 4 cuts, recontracting some of the guys. I mean, you could have 50 million at quite easy. You know what I mean? Talking about Ian Cunningham as well, I'm starting to find out a lot about him, and to be honest, Ryan Poles in Chicago, effectively he would have made a lot of mistakes if it wasn't for Ian Cunningham. Effectively Ian Cunningham pulling the guys back, pulling them back and saying not to go up for was it Adunze? Rome Adunze? And just told them to hold off, and sure enough, I looked as well. He's got a degree in psychology, and I've seen a few of the videos going around, I think, from Hard Knocks, when he's talking about how he looks for the body language. He looks for how they carry themselves, the strength that they run past them at, and all that kind of stuff. So he's looking for the power. So I think Matt Ryan and Stefanski, I think the mindset is the same. They want a powerful, dynamic, vicious team going forward, and that's going to be beneficial. It just means that the coach, Matt Ryan, and the general manager are all in the one mindset as to what kind of team they want, and that's exciting.
Yeah, and add into the mix that he's another guy who's familiar with Stefanski. He was with him in Cleveland 2020 through 2023. And I mean, his list of QBs that he's worked with is not too shabby. Guys like Andy Dalton, Drake May, even Aaron Rodgers. That's quite a list there. And as I say, not to pull up the hate rates again, but Tony makes a good point. If we don't win it next year, then 2028 the Super Bowl does go back to the Benz. So that's a great shout there. And of course, love as always to Uncle Lou. They're down in the chat. I did find something out, which is I know a caveat to something that we've been trying to butter you up for a minute to get Tyler on the show. Obviously, I know that's contractually not possible, but we would like to take this opportunity while we're in the kind of down tick of the season, and as I say, pass it on to your boy from us that if this is the last snaps that he's taken in the black and red, then we want to thank him and say we appreciate him for all the good that he's done. Career high 8 touchdowns, but if it's payday, then we hope he's paid well. I'll say that much.
What I would say, is Tyler Algier is one of the players that if he does go somewhere and he gets his payday, I won't begrudge him a single penny, because
not at all.
Whatever you say about that man has never shirked from a tackle, has never shirked from putting his head straight down and batting right into whoever stands in front of him. That man has put his body on the line for this team. I really hope Ian Cunningham walks in and goes, listen, for the amount, for 6, 7, 8 million a year, get the guy signed up. From my point of view, there's some decent running backs in the draft, but you know what you've got in Tyler Algier. You can again, effectively, if you love Bijan Robinson, then you have to love Tyler Algier, because you can't run Bijan all the time. The snap count that he's got is just excessive. At some point, he's going to pick up a small knock and he's going to have to step back. We need somebody that can go in there and effectively take the punches way Bijan Robinson, and there's nobody better than Tyler Algier. But if he has done his last game with Atlanta Falcons, I personally want to say that he will always be up there. I would say up there with Tyler Gabriel and I'll even say Devonta Freeman. I mean, I love that man. Forget about the missed tackle in the Super Bowl. They were guys that they didn't care who was in front of them. They put their body in the line, and to be honest, when you look at Tyler Algier, a 5th round pick out of Baylor, and I mean what he's done. I remember back to the first few games. In the first few games, he was effectively he was inactive for the first few games. It was him and Caleb Huntley, and I think they pushed Caleb Huntley before they pushed Tyler Algier, and I think Caleb Huntley got a small injury, and they brought Tyler Algier in, and Tyler Algier just was phenomenal in that game, and he's been as good ever since. And what I would say as well is the one thing that you spot from him is he's very, very humble. A lot of players in his position who effectively are an RB1. A lot of players in his position would, as I say, throw the dummy out the pram. The fact that Bijan Robinson gets all the plaudits and all the news and all the articles and everything. But again, Tyler Algier just keeps his head down and just plots on. Nothing. The man just, as long as he's got a ball in his hand and a defensive tackle or a defensive line to attack, that man's happy in the world that he's living in. And as I say, if he goes and gets his money elsewhere, I wouldn't begrudge him a penny.
Mm-hmm. Well, 100%. And as Raymond says as well, like Algier wants to say, and as we say as well, there's no lightning without the thunder, so to speak. You always need your good running mate. And I feel like to be truly effective, we need Tyler to back Bijan up. I'd also like to take a wee second to shout out Upstate Josh, listening or watching from New York. So a first time watcher there, and hopefully someone we can look to join the crew, another stateside brother as well. So it's great to see so many you showing love down in the chat as well, especially obviously given that we're up against a bit of a slate tonight. And shout out again to another one of the family that we're hoping to bring on soon if he'll have us, Georgia, Texas boy as well. What's going on? The new era is here. Let's Falcon go.
Yeah. What I would say is to Upstate Josh, I said earlier on, I don't know if you spotted it, but I did say that if Bijan Robinson isn't in the top 5 in the NFL 100 player, I'm personally going to the NFL offices in New York to riot. So if Upstate Josh is there as well, the two can batter in. I'll bring the kilts and the claymore and try and get it through. Try and get it through immigration, the massive big sword. So
that would be a fun conversation. Oh, so why are you here? It looks like espionage. Oh no, not espionage, just full-on terrorism. We're about to burn down the head offices of the NFL.
Aye.
Oh dear.
I can feel the satellites just zooming in on us now, mate. You know what I mean? I will tell you a story as well. So when I've went to I've been in America twice, and the twice that I went to America, I took my kilt with me. Now on a kilt, they've got a thing called a skiing do. So a skiing do goes down your sock, and it's a traditional knife. So it's a small knife. It was effectively worn by warriors as a last resort, that they could grab the knife and if they were getting attacked, they had a weapon. But when I got to America, immigration knew exactly what they had to look out for, because I get told that going into America with a skiing do was not allowed. They would have took the full kilt off me. So I had to actually, when I got the kilt, I had to buy kid on skiing do, which was just a plastic. It looks like a plastic knife, but it was just solid, so that I could put in my sock. I wouldn't say I was the happiest person in the world, because I mean, it is part of the traditional dress, which is the skiing do, but understand it from America's point of view. But I can't wait. I'm probably, there's a possibility I probably end up in Atlanta this season in September. I think me and my son have spoke about maybe heading over there in September. So, I as I say, I'm one of the. I'm always optimistic, and I just see the staff we're bringing in, and it just looks good. What I would say is, talking about Tyler Algier, it's quite an unknown situation, because we've got a new general manager. We don't know what this general manager is going to do. He might be conservative and want to keep as many guys as he can. He might effectively just pull the band-aid off and just say, right, we'll just get shorty all the, not the riffraff, but the hangers on that are kind of on the sideline most of the week. So we just don't know. But that's I think that's the beauty of everything. It could be terrible, but it could also be wonderful. So we're in that middle ground where we just don't know, and it's quite exciting from my part. Oh, you hearing me, mate?
Yeah, I can hear you okay now. Sorry,
Right.
what was it you said there, mate? My bad.
No, I was just talking about effectively we're in that part where it's quite exciting. We don't know what's going to happen, whether it's wonderful or it could be terrible, but because we don't know, it's the enjoyable part of it all. So it's like a blind date. You're just nervous to see who you're going to meet, and then effectively it could be great, it could be terrible, but you know what I mean, you're still excited anyway. So that's really where we stand with the coaching staff, with the general manager. Even, I mean, I think we know what we've got with Matt Ryan, but you know what I mean, it's still exciting.
And truly, now as we come into kind of mock draft season as well, it's especially exciting, because now we've got a lot of great ideas lined up. Like, me and Des are going to get together soon and play some front office. So if y'all want to see us do that live, then you know what to do. Drop the red and blacks to let us know it's got some support. But we're planning on coming on here doing a few different mock drafts for a few different scenarios. What happens if we keep Pitts? What happens if we don't? What if we keep Tyler Algier? And what if we don't? A lot of different things that we can explore. So as I say, if you want to see us go through all that, plus the big special that I've been teasing you all with obviously going in deep into this draft class as well, you're going to have to just keep it here and keep it Celtic. But yeah, as I say, it's been a great season so far. I'm optimistic, I'm hopeful, I'm thrilled by the reception, and by obviously it's too many people to shout out by name now. You know who you are in the group chat and in the chat tonight. Everybody who's featured along the way, obviously during season one, it's been amazing to have you. For anyone who's obviously, I get the nerves and all that good stuff, but as I say, I'm on here while my internet's acting up. We're getting through. We do what we must, and we do what we can. So as I say, like, it's bigger than it. It's got to a point nowadays where I feel like the show's almost bigger than us, to a point where we are given a platform now as well to other creators from Atlanta and from around the world to talk about Falcons. So it's something that's became so near and dear to my heart. So again, to everybody involved, just I can't thank you enough. Well, I do have the fidelity to do so anyway.
What I would say is, I've just seen, so Falcon Cheeser has just put a comment up saying get your, so it's kilts, KILTS, so it's get your kilts up. Unfortunately, we'd probably get arrested if we done that in America, because effectively, in case most people don't know, in America what we wear under our kilts is fresh air. That's what we wear under our kilts. So effectively, if we then got our kilts up, then there's a good chance we're getting arrested in America. So
yeah, that's it completely. Exposure charges. We don't need any of that. We don't need any excuses to be demonetized, let alone thrown in jail. We're trying to build a nice following here, and y'all have got us imprisoned already. At least let us get in and enjoy the game first before we end up in the cells.
Aye, absolutely.
Oh dear. But as I say, like for anybody who's ever wondered what's worn under there, Des will remind you again that it's all in perfect working order.
Yeah, that's it. There's nothing more under there. It's all in good working order, guys. That's all I'm going to say. That's literally. I went to America, but when I went to Atlanta in 2008, was how I fell in love with Atlanta Falcons. Fell in love with the city. I remember walking through the Olympic Park, and I mean, what a feeling that was. It was out of this world. I stayed in the Omni CNN hotel, and my window looked right into the studios of CNN. It was crazy. But everybody used to ask, everybody wanted to know what was worn under the kilt. And I got to a point where I just said, listen, there's nothing worn under there. It's all in good working order. And that was them. They smiled and moved on. And that's the benefit of traditional outfit. You know what I mean?
I did see a new one to kind of add into the vernacular as well. Recently on Facebook, I was browsing some memes, and it said there, what was it again? Yeah, this is a kilt. If I wore underwear, it would be a skirt.
Aye.
So yeah, if you're ever wondering the distinction, that would be it.
Or the other one, the traditional one is they call it a kilt because that's what happened to the last guy that called it a skirt. He get killed.
Like there's a reason why the Romans got halfway up Britain and went, nah, these people are insane. We're just going to build a wall and call it quits. Like, we are not starting.
And again, if you are history buffs out there, go and check this. The Romans effectively defeated every army they came across. They walked right through England, no bother. They got to the edge of Scotland and they called the guys animals and monsters. They called the Caledonians at the point. They called them, what was it? They called it was. I'm trying to remember. Literally, they were monsters, and they actually built a wall called Hadrian's Wall, and that wasn't to effectively keep the Scots in. That was to keep the Scots out of England because they were literally destroying the Romans as soon as they get anywhere near them. So, and that's historic fact. There's notes that have been wrote about these monsters in Caledonia. That and effectively Hadrian was the principal officer. He was like the main guy at the time, and he was the what is it you call the Roman
emperor.
He was the emperor at the time, and he told them just to build a wall to keep the guys out. So
that's the thing as well. While we're on the subject of historical fact, I will kind of throw some shade at Braveheart. For as fun a movie as it is, William Wallace would not have had a painted face. That would have been far earlier. To obviously date it back to again the Roman times, because the word Pict, which you may have heard in reference to a lot of the stuff in northeastern Scotland, actually comes from a Latin word Picti, which means the painted people. By Wallace's time, wood wasn't worn. Also, Wallace came from a bit more money and a bit more position. Obviously his uncle was in the church. The family was known to have a bit of land, a bit of money, so he would have probably looked more akin to your typical European knight at the time. But yeah, just scaled up, considering the dude was, modern estimates say, about 6'8", So there you go.
Andy's Claymore was about the size of Mel Gibson. So his Claymore was about the size of Mel Gibson. So
give or take, like apparently it's 5'4", they said, which is just insane because like even your average Claymore is 4'8", I think. It's either 4'8" or 4'10" would be your standard Claymore, and I think Wallace's. Again, I saw that at length would have had to be custom made, which shows that he had a bit of money. But yeah, Wallace's is apparently somewhere between 5'4" and 5'6", so it's pretty crazy. So yeah, you need to be a giant dude to wield that thing. And I've stood beside it in the Wallace Monument, which is, if you ever visit Scotland, guys, in the chat, it's in Stirling, and it's just an amazing place to visit. You'll be able to obviously see the sword, and it's awe-inspiring. I know there's a lot of obviously Scots extraction over in the States, so if you ever feel like visiting and seeing some of the history, then Stirling would be a good place to start.
Absolutely, and then you head from Wallace Monument up to Edinburgh Castle. You've got Stirling Castle. You know, I mean the history, the Scottish history. I mean, it goes back. I mean, it's literally 2,000 years, over 2,000 years of history. Gonna way back. You've got obviously stories of the Vikings coming over and up the Shetlands and the Orkneys and all that. So I mean, there's the history goes back over 2,000 years. So I mean, I love my country. I always have. I look on the Americans with a wee bit of envy how much they love their country as well, with a national anthem every game, with the flyover of the B-52 bombers and all that. Just so patriotic. But we love our country. I wouldn't change it for a world that I was born here.
I completely agree. And I mean, wait till the World Cup rolls around. We're coming over to America as the Tartan Army. So if you want to hear Scottish passion in action, wait until the call of the national anthem, and wait until we strike up the pipes for Flower of Scotland, and then you'll see and hear a national anthem. And one more funny bit about history before we kind of get back onto football. We do also have the oldest national flag on earth. So there's one for you as well. The national flag of Scotland, the saltire, which is the St Andrew's cross, white diagonal cross on a field of blue, as you see on the back here, nice logo up there top right. That's been in use since 830 AD. So yeah, it's well over just coming up in 1,200 years old now. So there's a nice little interesting tidbit for you as well.
And the Scots have a bit of sense of humour because their national flower is a weed. So,
it is indeed.
And their national animal is a mythical animal. So effectively, all countries, I think obviously America's the bald eagle. So that's your national anthem. I'm not sure about the national flower of America.
I think it varies by state. I think because I mean you've got the yellow rose of Texas. You've got so I think it varies, but at least by region, maybe.
Yeah. Well, our national animal is a unicorn. So our national anthem, national animal, is actually a mythical creature. So we've got a really good sense of humour here. And what I would say is, if you've ever felt pain, you've never felt pain like walking into a field of thistles, which is our national flower. Let's just say a lot of curse words are said as soon as you get stung by a thistle. So yeah,
100%.
We've got a good sense of humour over here, that's for sure.
And that's the whole joke about thistles, isn't it? That obviously we know the lay of the land, so we knew to stay out of the way. But it depends who you ask. Some people would tell you the story says it's an Englishman. Other people would say Roman, Viking. But the traditional story is that they had a party trying to sneak up and do a raid, and someone stepped on a thistle, and you know how that goes. And we go, oh, there they're there.
Yeah, that's
pretty much.
That was it. Yeah, I mean, it protected the Scots because effectively we had land fields. You know what I mean? So landmine fields we had them 1,000 years ago. You know what I mean? Without any gunpowder. So
that's it. If you're not an animal person, you don't need guard dogs. You just need a nice field of thistles, and you'll be fine. You'll hear them coming. And I did want to answer one of these questions. See Duttlinger down in the chat. That's a great question, and it was one we were gonna talk about. I've got 3 that I wanted to pull up. I don't want to mess too much with my internet tonight, so I'm not going to show the photos. But you know who I'm talking about. I've got 3 per se. I would probably say Malik Willis. I would also say Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of the Jaguars, because I feel like he's a great off-ball linebacker, but he can still get pressure. Add into the mix, he's only 27 as well, so he's still in his prime. And then forget the guy's name, Jaden something. It's a corner from Kansas City. Just double checking that just now. That would be Jaden Watson, cornerback from Kansas City. Those are some of the guys I'm looking at. And when you're talking about Watson, he's a great, tall, long perimeter threat, or perimeter protector, I should say. He goes about 6'2" or so, about 210 pounds. So I mean, he's a bigger corner. So yeah, that's kind of some of the guys I've got my eyes on. How about you, Des?
I mean, I'm just on looking at Chicago Bears free agents because I'm pretty sure Ian Cunningham. I mean, it happens everywhere you go. As soon as a general manager comes in from another team, there's always going to be. I mean, he knows the lay of the land when it comes to contracts and all that. So there's always going to be players that he brings in. So I'm just looking. Now there's one. Olamide Zaccheaus, you know what I mean? He could come back. Jalen Jones, half decent safety. You've got Kevin Byard, 32. He's a safety. Again, not many players I know a lot about, but yeah, there's going to be some people that he brings in, possibly from Chicago. What I would say is he's been at Ravens, he's been at the Eagles as well. So effectively, I mean, he knows everybody. So as I said earlier, that's the benefit. Everything that's you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I personally think, well, the team, the first string team are probably up there with most other NFL teams. It's the depth that we need. If I'm Ian Cunningham, I'm getting to, I think, is it 48th? We've got. I'm getting to number 48, and I'm drafting back. I'm trying to get picks, and I'm drafting back. He's away. So that's what I'm doing. Effectively looking at what Ian Cunningham does, seemingly he is quite conservative. We're not giving away draft picks, which is what I'm happy with. Terry Fontenot had a habit of always in the second round. He would always go up 3 or 4 places in the second round and throw away a third or a fourth round pick for us, which always felt quite strange to me that he would do it. But every year he always moved up once or twice in the draft. I would rather have my GM effectively moving back. What I would say is the one thing about Terry Fontenot is Terry Fontenot was always decent with free agents. I think he done really well with free agents. And I think the way he looked at it is he done it like worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is I need to get as many of the positions I need filled, sorted in free agency, and then that gives us a straight run getting BPA, best player available, and that's what he tended to do. And again, I think Josh Williams is the same. I mean, seemingly he won a Super Bowl with Baltimore Ravens. Seemingly he was one of the main hands that effectively got the Philadelphia Eagles to where they are now. So he helped build that roster. You see the quick turnaround with Chicago Bears. You know what I mean? Literally, I mean, that was a quick turnaround. And to be honest, I think the Chicago Bears are in a worse position last year than we are this year. And they you know what I mean? So there is a lot for them to work with, but like most people, the depth, we need to build in the depth. And the way to build in the depth is through the draft. And that's getting as many picks as possible, because you're always going to miss on 1 or 2 picks. But the more picks you've got, the better. You know what I mean? But Terry Fontenot just used to give. I mean, it was daft. It was like he would move up 4 places and give away a 7th and a 5th, and you'd be like, it seemed as if, as Mr. Blank said, there was no vision there on what he really wanted to do. You know what I mean? I think Ian Cunningham was quite more straight lined. I think he thanks Maggie. Maggie loves the heart. This is one of my. I think I got this as a birthday present from my son. So I've got a Braves hat. I was actually going to wear my Braves hat, my Atlanta Braves hat tonight, because it's coming up soon for the baseball season started. But I'll leave that for another day. But
no, it's a sick hat. And I mean, that's a great segue too, because I mean, that's something we can look into in season 2 as well. We need to start getting some Scottish Falcons merch out into the world. Like,
absolutely, mate.
We need to just do it. It needs to be done, mate. But yeah, I'd agree with you. Like, trading back that round 2 pick makes a lot of sense. Just trying to kind of increase what we can do. Obviously, we'll be in a good position with free agency as well, dependent on where we are in cap. Right now, we're in between sort of 27 and 38 million, depending on what moves we make. We could have as much as 50 or even 70, depending on what you're willing to do. And that's one that we can do a full episode on, Des, if you're happy to do so, because the man's been doing his due diligence over on the old AI. So shout out to ChatGPT. But yeah, that's something we can really go into. There's a lot of different ways we can free up some cap, and we can really look at this. But I mean, it depends what you want to do with veterans versus young rookies. But I mean, I again singled out 3 guys. That's the second out of Tennessee, the wide receiver, Jake Slaughter, who's the center at Florida, and then also my guy, as you know, is Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech, who's also been recently asked, how would you feel about playing for the Atlanta Falcons? And he went, yeah, I feel like it'd be real nice for the Atlanta Falcons. And I mean, there you go, 6'4", 321 pound, run stuffer, high level, playing SEC ball at Tech. So I mean, it's good. If he wants to come in and shore that up.
I've got my favourite, mate. I'm quite a romanticist, and there's one player that would just be, it would just be phenomenal if we got him, and that's Avion Terrell. Effectively AJ's little brother. So he's we need a cornerback. We definitely need a cornerback, mate. That he's projecting to be late first round. But if he dropped to pick 48, I would snap him up in a second. Literally the media team, you could just write there he is again. You could just write the media story, effectively phoning AJ Terrell and asking AJ Terrell to tell his brother that he's coming to the Falcons. How good would that be? And forget all that. He's an absolute fantastic cornerback. And I think since we've drafted AJ Terrell, I don't think we've ever. Mike Hughes has been okay, but I don't think we've ever gave AJ Terrell a really standalone, effectively cornerback 1/2 that he's always needed. And just imagine the story that effectively Avion Terrell comes in, and he's got his big brother there to take care of him, to show him the ropes. And for me, as I say, I'm a romanticist. If I had a shot, that's where I'd be going. I'd be going for Avion Terrell. If you look at probably wide receivers, Let me just jump onto my report. Wide receivers, you've got Jordan Tyson at Arizona State. So again, he's going to go top 10. You've got Carnell Tate, Ohio State. He's going to go mid first round. He's projected to be mid first round. You've got Mekhi Lemon out of USC, wide receiver. So again, he's late first round. Then you're into Denzel Boston, Washington, wide receiver. He's late first round, early second round. Casey Concepcione, which is probably one of my favourites at Texas A&M. He's projecting second round. So again, from my point of view, you've got, I would say you've got wide receiver and you've got cornerback. We would need a nose tackle as well. And effectively, that's where I would go with the draft. What we're going to do is I'm going to give it another few minutes, and if Phil can't get on, obviously we've went 50 minutes. We can call it a day, and then obviously I'm pretty sure we'll be back next Thursday. For me, as I say, I want my general manager to use the draft for depth. That's what I'm looking for. As I said, Terry Fontenot had a habit of effectively giving away picks, staff picks. I mean, you look at, I think, I'm trying to remember, Onyemata, I think we gave away a third round pick for him as well. We never, here's the boss. Maggie, how you doing?
Hey, coming in. I know you're getting ready to wrap it on up and everything, but I was hearing some of the picks, or some of the people that are available and everything that you're interested in. It's gonna be kind of interesting to see what these Falcons decide to do now that we got our GM and we got the Senior Bowl today. Some people saying that Ian was actually at the Senior Bowl before he even got hired. So
yeah, he's been there all week. So that I actually put out on X that I was surprised that it took them so long to appoint a GM, because obviously he's going to miss out on the checking out for the draft and scouting and everything. But he's been at the Senior Bowl all week. So effectively, I'm pretty sure before he went to the Senior Bowl, he had it in his mind that he was going to be the next general manager. So there's a good chance that we were effectively scouting players on Chicago's dime, on their money. You know what I mean? I know obviously the Chicago Bears fans are not happy that they're not getting any draft picks, because we've brought on a minority candidate. Obviously that's down to the fact that Matt Ryan's considered the higher position.
Yeah.
I actually put a joke out on X saying that congratulations to CBS who now get 2 draft picks in the 2026 draft, because obviously Matt Ryan's considered the higher. But there was a lot of anger out there that as if we've took something from them, but it's nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, as I said earlier on the show, Maggie, it's an exciting time, because I think the staff that they brought in all look fantastic. This Van Pelt that they brought in, he seems to be, I mean, he's worked with Aaron Rodgers, and again, you know yourself, Aaron Rodgers doesn't suffer fools gladly. So if you've worked with Aaron Rodgers and you've worked with some of the other QBs, I think effectively that's probably a point at Raheem Morris and saying that effectively he didn't do enough for Michael Penix Jr. I think it's also said that, I think Blank said it, I think Matt Ryan, if you look back on conversations that Matt Ryan's had historically this year about Michael Penix Jr., he likes Michael Penix Jr. He thinks he's got all the talent to make it and do it well in the NFL. So effectively, I think they've put it on the table that Michael Penix Jr. is going to be the guy. But the good thing about Matt Ryan is Matt Ryan knows that the development's got to be there. I watched an interview that he had, and he effectively said that the quarterback, a rookie quarterback, they have to effectively be developed. They need to take sometimes the pain and the misery, some bad games. I mean, as I said on our Thursday show, I mean, Caleb Williams at the end of last season, there was stories going about that Chicago were looking to possibly trade him away and try and move up and get another quarterback. And now you see what's happened with him. It was the same with Drake May. Drake May for 4, 5, 6, 7 games just looked all over the place. So effectively, that's what people don't understand when they're already saying that they think Michael Penix Jr. is a bust. He's not a bust. He just needs more games under his belt.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Matt Ryan, Arthur Blank, and everybody there are now saying. He's got probably the best arm talent in the NFL. He could be a special QB. We just need to develop him.
Let me ask this question. I didn't get a chance to kind of research the new quarterback coach. Did y'all look into him a little bit or talk about it? I missed that part.
Yeah, a little bit. Good to have you on, Maggie. First off, now that I'm back in the building.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've done a little bit into him. He's been around the block. As I say, he's got a big list of guys all the way from Andy Dalton through Aaron Rodgers. So he's been a part of a good few different offenses. So he's going to, where he's not only served as a QB coach, but also as offensive coordinator in some places too. So that kind of shores up the possible inequity of having a younger play caller there with Reese. But again, Reese was able to lean on Stefanski as well. He's also got Matt Ryan as well, and that's one thing that I said was good as well about the Matt Ryan thing, was the fact that he can now officially be part of the development of Penix, who says he's going to be good for week 1. I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket.
He's excited, but the doctor gotta clear him first. I know he's ready to go, but we need a healthy QB out there.
Yeah, and that's why I said to you guys in the group chat, like, I'll sell half a season if he comes back 100% and ready to go. I will do it.
Yeah, we need to look at it long term. That's what we have to do. Bearing in mind that Terry Fontenot had said in his press conference when they drafted Michael Penix Jr. he could sit for 4 years. You know, I mean, we all knew it was 2 years. So effectively, if we miss him another 4 or 5 games, as long as we bring in a decent backup, as I said in the last show, we his injury concerns. I had obviously mentioned the fact that when Matt Ryan, for quite some of Matt Ryan's time in Atlanta, he had Matt Schwab as his backup QB, and effectively he was effectively a QB1 in a lot of other teams. So even though you had Matt Ryan, you still had a really good backup that you could fall back on if Matt Ryan gets injured. When you've actually got an injury, potential injury-prone QB, you need to have somebody in place that you know you can put them in there and they're going to win you games. Now, just looking at Alex Van Pelt, most of his time has been as a quarterbacks coach. He has been offensive coordinator. He was offensive coordinator in Cleveland Browns 2022. 2023, he was offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Then he went to the New England Patriots in 2024 as offensive coordinator. Then LA Rams as a senior offensive assistant, and then now he's here as quarterback coach. Now, the benefit of that, Maggie, is the fact that when you've got Tommy Rees coming in, and Tommy Rees is effectively, he's only had half a season as a play caller as an OC. Is it not beneficial to have somebody like Alex Van Pelt, who's been an OC, that you can actually fall back on? And I'm pretty sure that hiring wasn't just for the quarterback coach. it was obviously to help develop Tommy Rees as well as an OC. So we're not going to get the Zach Robinson issue where Zach Robinson in his first year and probably second year was all over the place, but there was not really anybody that he could fall back on, or there wasn't anybody that was stepping up and saying, listen, let's have a look at how your comp plays and let's change them a wee bit. Now Tommy Rees has effectively got Kevin Stefanski, who's an OC, who's effectively an offensive coach. And then you've got Alex Van Pelt as well. So when you hear Kevin Stefanski talking about development and have been able to develop his guys, I don't think he's just talking about the players as well. I think he wants a culture of development, which is, I mean, from my point of view, I don't want to see coaches move. But if you get into a position where you're looked on like the San Francisco 49ers as a place that you can come in, develop, and then move on to be head coach somewhere, that allows you to get the pick of the crop when it comes to the coordinators when you're actually looking to appoint again. And that's where we need to be. We need to be picking the cream of the crop, Maggie.
I think so. I guess it just because a lot of these guys have worked with each other, I feel like it's gonna smooth over because they all the personnel know each other. So and they already know what the talent we have on this team. Of course, now we got the GM in. We got to start looking around at who we holding, who we getting rid of, bringing in some pieces that's not as expensive, so we can have a little bit more cap. Kirk Cousins, I'm sure he's out the door at this point because the guy is Penix, and Penix is on track with his healing. But like you said, some of these are first time to this position or have worked. Like I said, I think a lot of people say, oh, it's the buddy system. I guess we'll just have to see because when they were in Chicago, the talent they had was atrocious. So now that we have a few weapons for them to play around with, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Right now, it's all speculation. We really can't say, but I really do hope that with all the connections, even Ian, his father was, historian. He has ties to Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's hopefully this is the steps that we need to take. And with Matt Ryan back there, just kind of, he knows what it takes to be contenders. I'm sure he's saying, I'm going to let the coach do this. I'm going to but he's going to always have a mouthpiece to what needs to happen in this organization. So, I'm excited. Just to see what happens. Mm-hmm.
As I say, there was two positions we could have been in, Maggie. We could be in a position now that effectively the season ends, we don't make the playoffs. It's another 8 and 9 season, and we're sitting here talking about why is Raheem Morris still in a job? You know what I mean? So effectively, if we'd have been in that position, as I said, the team was good enough to make the playoffs. And effectively, I think it was to do with the coaching, the fact that this team didn't make the playoffs. Now, there was other factors, missed field goals and all that kind of stuff, but effectively, when you come into the start of the season after Younghoe Koo had such a bad season last year, and then you bring in one international player who you know you're not going to play as a kicker, you're effectively putting yourself in a position where you're going to have to pick Younghoe Koo. Now, that one decision already was bad. So effectively, you're hoping that when you look at Ian Cunningham, he is quite conservative, but he likes, as you see what he's done in Chicago, him and Ryan Poles has effectively built that culture up very, very quickly. And as I said earlier in the show, what Chicago Bear were like the start of last season to effectively this season getting to the playoffs, I think we're in a better position than where Chicago was at the start of last season. So we've got a lot more weapons. I think the main issue is the depth. We just need more depth. And again, that's down to the GM to effectively try and trade back in the draft, get more picks. I mean, when you're looking at a lot of the media, they're saying that the first maybe 10 or 12 picks are top, and then everything else from there on is just same old, same old. The draft does look to be quite deep this year, especially in wide receiver, cornerback.
Oh yeah. I'm saying, well, we can definitely get some good receivers in the later rounds. Definitely wide receiver is my top. We need some corners.
Yeah,
we need some tackles. And the fact that you mentioned that kicking situation, it just showed that they try to ignore these injuries. We honestly, Young Wei Koo shouldn't even have made it.
Yeah.
The starting roster after he was showing his he wasn't doing so well in practice. He shouldn't have made it to the main roster, and we should have addressed that kicking situation right away. I think it would have put us in. I mean, not saying I hate that it was relying on kicks, but we should have addressed that a long time ago. It just kind of shows what coaching staff we had, what they ignored.
Yeah. I mean, the whole season has been strange, Maggie, because you look at Darnell Mooney. Now, Darnell Mooney, first day of practice, goes out to grab a ball off Michael Penix Jr., I think, and breaks his collarbone.
Right.
And effectively, Raheem Morris stands up in press conference later that day and says he's day-to-day. It was just very, very strange. Then you look at the Ike Hilliard situation where after we have a bad game against Carolina and he's gone. And then the Ray McLeod situation, there was just so many red flags of bad coaching and bad just a locker room that wasn't happy. Then you see at the end of the last game of the season against the Aints, you see Drake London, you see him catching the touchdown, and he throws the ball down. He doesn't look too happy at getting the touchdown, straight down the sideline, over to TJ Yates, and starts screaming at TJ Yates. You know what I mean? That's not a happy environment. That there was so much happening that we didn't see that Raheem Morris allowed to happen in that dressing room. That just there was so many red flags. And as I say, I would rather be sitting here just now, Maggie, with the unknown what's going to happen, rather than sitting here with Raheem Morris still as head coach and just knowing that effectively the players are going to give him lip service and say, yeah, we want to work, we want to play for Raheem Morris. Of course they're going to say that. You know what I mean?
They have to.
Yeah, they're not going to come out and throw their head coach under a bus. They're going to say, yeah, we want to work with Raheem Morris. Effectively, the NFL is a strange world. You don't know from one season to the next who's going to be your coaching staff. So you might throw Raheem Morris under the bus just now, and then in 2 seasons, is your defensive coordinator or is your head coach. You know what I mean? So players are never ever going to come out and say anything about the coaching staff. They'll always show the coaching staff support, but I always say the evidence there was telling you that the evidence showed that there was just something wrong with that in that changing room, and you've seen it. I mean, when you've got your wide receiver one, getting a touchdown and then literally not even showing any happiness towards it, and then going over to the receivers coach and effectively have a go at him. I mean, I was over Raheem Morris well before the end of the season, and the fact that when you hear Kevin Stefanski talk, I said in our last show, it feels as if we've actually now finally got a head coach. It's not somebody, and give Arthur Smith his due. He tried his best, but effectively it felt like Arthur Smith and Raheem Morris were just playing at being a head coach. Whereas Kevin Stefanski, he says all the right things. To be honest, he's had quite a lot of things through at him by local reporters and national reporters about Baker Mayfield and the Shadur Saunders situation, and he takes it like a champ. He says all the right words. He could make a fantastic politician, and you look at that and you say, you know what? I think finally, for the first time in maybe 5, maybe I would say probably 10 seasons, we finally got what you would consider a head coach in the building, and that's good to have. But you have got your uncertainty. But I would rather have that uncertainty and not knowing what's going to happen than have Raheem Morris here and knowing that next year was going to be a bust as well, Maggie. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this because we had a Browns fan on, diehard Browns fan that lives here in Atlanta. We had him on, and he was able to kind of give us an insight from his perspective of who Stefanski is. And he said one thing he can say about this head coach: he calls his players out. He really does hold them accountable. And a lot of the people was like, the quarterback development, but look what he was doing over there and with, Shador and everything else. But he was like, I recall when Shador is always in the office with him, and of course you can't expect a 5th rounder to be practicing with the first team. It doesn't just work that way, So, but yeah, he was saying that he's accountable for the players. He calls them out, as well as, a lot of people was like, why did he hire the other guy to be the play caller? And he's not. He said, because coach thrives better when he doesn't have his hand in the many hats, where he doesn't really have to focus on that and running an entire team. But one thing he can say about him, he will step in when need be. So it's not going to be where, okay, yeah, he's just playing the calls, and he's going to leave it at that. If he sees that, okay, now you're not doing so well, he's going to step in. So, and I feel like Ian is not going to, Matt Ryan or anybody. I know it's a lot of hats on the table, but yeah, he got a 5th rounder to the Pro Bowl his rookie year.
Yeah.
That's questionable, but I get it. I ain't gonna get into the politics of that, because for him to surpass a lot of other players, it just kind of either showed that they didn't want to be there, because his stats clearly didn't put him in there.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the last week in the NFL has been quite strange, because, listen, I don't like the man, but Bill Belichick should be a first-time Hall of Famer.
That was ridiculous.
I mean, I can't stand the man, but it would be a bit like Tom Brady and not getting in his first time being able to get voted into the Hall of Fame and not getting voted into the Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick, whatever you say about, he's only won this many games without Tom Brady. Listen, it doesn't matter. He had Tom Brady. He developed the guy. He helped the guy thrive. He gave the guy what Matt Ryan never had, which was a competent defense. I mean, the guy is one of the best head coaches the NFL has ever seen. And for him not to go into the NFL and into the Hall of Fame is ridiculous. And I hate the man. I can't stand him.
Either.
But then you look at Shadur Saunders going to the Pro Bowl. Joe Flacco's went to the Pro Bowl. Trevor Lawrence hasn't went to the Pro Bowl. You're just sitting, you're kind of scratching your head and saying, what exactly are they looking at?
I think it's more for publicity and people to watch. That's because, honestly, it's flag football at this point. and it's just a popularity contest. At the end of the day, it has no type of substance. So some of these players probably did get offered, and it's like, nah, I'm good over here. I'd rather get ready for the off season, not risk myself, even though it's flag football, but it's a joke. It's a mockery. This
Yeah.
Pro Bowl. I mean, if anything, just honor the guys and, give them some trophies or what have you, and keep it moving. But having a whole weekend of that mediocre stuff, it's like, I don't want to see that mess. The fans vote them in. Yeah, like I said, it's a popularity contest.
See if I had my way, I would try and see for the game that they play. I would instead of having the Pro Bowl, what I would do is I would try and do something with the college football and try and have like I don't know, maybe have like effectively a game where it would be the I don't know, like maybe the draft college players against the college against maybe the seniors that are just coming up. Some to mix it up.
Where scout can kind of get out there and kind of it will be point. There's a point for these games. I get it. Kind of like, let's say we have the combine, and then we have certain players that gets in there and show their skill set actually in a physical football game, if you will. I mean, something of some kind of standard, because this Pro Bowl mess is just a waste of time.
Yeah. And again, the Senior Bowl as well. I think the Senior Bowl's been diluted as well with some of the rules that they've brought in.
Yeah.
Like a quarterback can't show it down the field, and literally it has to be a short pass. It just seems as if they're diluting it. You know what I mean? If you're a player going to the Senior Bowl, you're not caring about getting injured. Well, you maybe are, but effectively you're wanting to show what you've got. That some of these players are literally sitting on the sideline. There's a possibility they're going to be an undrafted free agent. They really want to go out there and have a shot at effectively either getting drafted or allowing one of the scouts to spot them, to then bring them in as an undrafted free agent. It just seems to be we're diluting it all. I mean, I used to watch the Pro Bowl when it was like physical, when they were actually
I did.
But since they took it to the flag football, I've not been interested at all. There's no interest in it at all. It just seems to be a corporate, like a corporate end of year, like a Christmas gala kind of thing. Let's get together and just have a few drinks, enjoy the end of the season, and look forward to Cancun. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like to me.
Right.
If you're a fan, if you're a football fan, listen, the season lasts 365 days a year for you. You know what I mean? You're literally now you're getting the Super Bowl over, then you're straight into the draft season. And then you're watching the draft, then you're waiting for the free agency to kick in, then you're looking for the OTAs to kick in, and the players coming back, and it's a 365 day a year, effectively fan base. So from my point of view, the Senior Bowl, I can watch the Senior Bowl, but again, that's diluted, and the Pro Bowl was just it's a shadow itself, Maggie.
That's it, and they need to let it go. I mean, just you got the Super Bowl. That's that's gonna be where your money is gonna be made anyway, and leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's just a vacation for a lot of these players, because it means nothing at this point. If anything, I would be rather seeing like how some of these players, like, we got the tight end camp and we got certain things. I wouldn't mind kind of like how they have the Hard Knocks, where we start to see some of these players get into these camps, and we kind of get an insight on what they're doing in the off season. I think that would be more exciting to see, these players get together, especially some of the top ones helping out the others, and developing that way in the off season. So it's like, what are they doing now? I wouldn't mind seeing some of those camps and things going around the league, especially because then it gives you it gives the new people that's coming in all the college prospects and everything else. It's like, oh yeah, so we still have, we got our team training, but we also have off-season things going on to kind of develop players that might have the skills challenge is cool, a great way to just show off.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, kind of like a training camp for different positions, quarterback camp, wide receiver camp, this, that, things like that, where player development is really, really looked at, because I feel like now the quarterback development has been kind of washed down.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they should stick with pro.
I mean,
and I like that pro awards and get rid of Pro Bowl. Yeah, just kind of give some honor and considerations, a knock on their resume for Hall of Fame, but just having them play flag football is pointless.
See, to be honest, see if I had my way and you really thought outside the box. I remember when I was growing up, we used to have a TV program called Superstars, and effectively it was a set of like 10. It was like a decathlon, but it was different skills. And if I'm in NFL, I would say to myself, do you know what? Why don't we go to the teams and we say to the teams, we'll develop certain skills that we want, like 10 routines that we want each of you to do. And at the end of the season, we want you to pick the top maybe 8 players in your team for the Atlanta Falcons, Chicago Bears, the Dallas Cowboys. It could be young players. It doesn't have to be like the number 1 players, and then effectively allow them to show off, like maybe like effectively have the backup quarterback showing how good he is against other backup quarterbacks to see how
Right.
far
That's what I mean. So it's some type of skills thing where it's like you kind of the other wide receiver go against wide receivers, and they're running, they're spreading, they're doing, it's like, oh man, yeah. It's the combine again of the pros.
Yeah.
You're getting to kind of see some of the best, like how we got a Bijan, and everybody saying he's the greatest and he's the best, but it's like, seeing other candidates in that, just kind of showing off their skills just a bit, kind of like how the NBA does it, with all these skill challenges, and you got the 3-point this and just different things that's going on. So you can really revise it and make it a little bit more interesting. But at the same time, you could just do away with it and do awards like they were saying in the chat as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's hope we've got a few awards coming our way, Maggie. With Bijan Robinson and James Pierce Jr. and Xavier Watts. So
yeah.
Let's hope we've got. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Bijan deserves the Offensive Player of the Year, absolutely. And I think out of all of them, I think James Pierce Jr. deserves the Defensive Rookie of the Year. No doubt on that. But it's the Falcons. Nobody likes the Falcons, so we won't get it. It'll probably go to Abdul Carter, who's a very average year this year as a defensive rookie.
And I like what Falcon Chaser said. The main concern over Pro Bowl is players have no motivation. Right? Yeah. They try paying the winners extra, but isn't working. Like Max said, a flag football game. It's drawing no attention. Players don't give a damn about it. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we'll start calling it a day, Maggie. So
that'll work for me.
Before we go, what have you got coming up soon?
Well, of course, we got the regulators tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, they're going to get in on this, all the coaching changes and things like that, and how they feel about it. As far as the Lady Birds, we do have a special guest It's going to be in the house next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We will have Muhammad Sanu, speaking of wide receiver. So y'all please tune into that. I'm actually going to create a poll and put in the chat too, just of questions you guys would like to ask him. And I'll make sure everybody gets the highlight of that question. But main thing, I do know that he is interested in being a NFL coach, even though now I think we maintained our wide receivers coach, I believe, or we hired somebody for that position. But nonetheless, would love to hear his thoughts on. I'm a kind of asked a little bit about his thoughts on the wide receiver coach being fired, mid-season, and his thoughts on. We'll see what we can get out of him as far as his on that whole situation with Ray and everything else.
Yeah.
And Falcons wide receiver class altogether, what his thoughts and what needs to happen there, as well as he has a lot of businesses and things that he's doing outside. He's coaching now and he's a mentor. So just wanted to hear his thoughts, because he's very vocal about the Falcons. So that's going to be a very, very interesting show. Along with that, I am probably going to be bringing back my Candid Room. That's more of a outside football talk show where we just talk about mental health awareness and everyday life and how to be better. I do have a question. So this is the last show of the season. So what are you guys going to be ending up doing? And of course, y'all follow me on Maggie T Productions anywhere and everywhere. Of course, we'll be still going on in the off season. Just talking as we're still having some exciting things going on. Now we'll probably get to see who stays, who goes, and just kind of speculate what's the next move for the draft. But, let us know what's next for the Scottish Falcons.
Yeah, I think we're going to start concentrating on the draft as well. So probably the next show, I think, will probably be on next Thursday. And we'll be looking at free agency, draft picks, what we think, where we think the general manager should go. So, yeah, as I say, we might, once the Super Bowl finishes, I think we might move down to one show a week.
Okay. Makes sense.
But effectively, once it starts kicking off with the draft and all that, I think we'll move back up. But yeah, as I said last season, the start of this season, I thought it was going to be a fantastic season for us, but I'm quite optimistic that I think with Kevin Stefanski coming in now and all the coaching staff, I think it's going to be a special season for us. I think we'll see playoff football again, Maggie. As for me, you can get me. I'll always be on X at Scottish Falcons, so you find me there. And again, I appreciate all the love and support that we've had from yourself, Maggie, all the other Atlanta Falcons Nation, and looking forward to the start of the season 2.
Okay, we're excited about it. Like I said, it's going to be a very active off season, and to see what we have a little Chicago ties. We got a little bit of Browns. It's going to be fairly easy to kind of see how all these people collab. And I love the fact that they're saying that we're going to be run heavy. That's huge to me. I see you guys hear the rumblings of Jesse Bates trade to the Bears. 1 year left on contract with Watts. It makes some sense. If we could get a 3rd round pick or better. I haven't heard that yet. I haven't really looked at the rumors. I've been so focused on this GM. But no, I haven't seen that. Thank you, Scottish Falcons, for great content. Thank you, Tony Hall, for tuning in to us today.
Appreciate the support. Thanks for the message.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Between the run and pass. And then, he was basically saying that mentally and physically they want to affect the quarterback. So that's why they probably obtained Ulbrich, because it's what ain't broke don't need to be fixed.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how it goes together.
Yeah. we'll see. As I say, hopefully the Seahawks destroy the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and I think Kubiak will probably stay in Seattle. I don't think he's going to take the Raiders or the Arizona job. But again, it's going to be an adventurous off season, that's for sure, Maggie. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. So what day y'all thinking about keeping it to, Saturdays or Thursdays?
Possibly Saturdays, but again, we'll make that decision probably in the next week or so. So I think we'll probably, with all the issues we've had with Will in the show tonight, we'll definitely have a show on Thursday, and then we'll probably have decided what we're going to do. Probably for me, I think probably Thursday's better because it's
Okay.
it's not the weekend, so effectively it just allows people to enjoy their weekend. So we'll make that decision, Maggie, and obviously we'll speak to you about it, see what you think as well. So as I say, it's been a great first season. I appreciate all the help, all the support. I appreciate all the guys that come in the chat and that jump in and view the show. Just really humble with the amount of views we've got and the messages and the support. So I can only say I'm absolutely overjoyed by everything that's happened in the first season, and obviously I'm still finding my feet. Will's still finding his feet, and hopefully season 2 will be even better.
Even better. Like I said, I'm gonna try to, now that we have the off season, my goal is to expand this international brand. So going back to reach out to some folks that might be interested in jumping on. If not, it'll just be the Scottish Falcons channel. Hey, we can run with that. It don't matter to me. It said, oh, okay. The Scottish Falcons helped me get through this tough ass shit season. And I'm glad to hear that. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and let you guys finish off the rest of your day. I'm probably going to rewatch the Senior Bowl and take some notes. And we'll see you guys next week. And, of course, the Regulators on tomorrow morning and the Ladybirds on Tuesday. And we're out, people.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Good night.